Hi, I'm Mark from easylawnmowing.co.uk and this is the YUKA Robotic Lawnmower from Mammotion. In this video, we're going to take a look at this robotic mower in more detail, and by the end of this video, you'll know whether this is the right robotic lawnmower for you and your lawn. So before we take a closer look at this YUKA robotic mower from Mammotion, we need to get it unboxed. So let's do that now. Let's take a look what comes supplied as standard with the kit, and then we'll take a look at what are some of the optional extras that you can get with this robotic mower. Okay, let's get it unboxed. Okay, so that's our YUKA unboxed. So what do you get supplied as standard in the package? So just a quick side note, the dog does not come supplied, but she just wants to be in on the video. So what you get is the YUKA itself. So I've gone for the 2000 model. There is a 1500. Now the difference between them is that this will mow 2000 square meters and the 1500 will mow 1500 square meters, hence the name. The only other difference is this will do 20 zones. This will mow up to 20 zones, where the 1500 will mow up to 10 zones. And really, essentially, that's the only difference between them. So you can choose which one you want. So as standard, and I will go over the optional extras after, but as standard, you're going to get the mower itself. You're going to get your charge station here. So this is very similar to the LUBA, which I have at the back there. And that LUBA's been mowing my lawn now for 4 months and it's absolutely fantastic, and it does an absolute fantastic job. So it's very similar to the LUBA. However, this mower docks in front ways as opposed to reversing in like the LUBA does. So very similar stations. There is no garage available for the YUKA as there is with the LUBA. So that just simply clips on there. There's a few screws that need to go in, and I'll be showing you the assembly later. So you get your power brick here, your charger for your station. So there's two options really. So when you're using your RTK station, you can either plug that into the back of the charge station and just use the single power supply. But Mammotion do provide a second power supply and lead here. So you can actually have the RTK station completely somewhere separately, and the advice is always to get the RTK station as high up as possible, so that allows you then to position that somewhere else by having its own separate power supply. There is also an option for a solar kit, and I do have that, and I'm going to show you that after. So you can power that RTK station 100% from a solar panel, which is really great. So talking of the RTK, this is the RTK module. As you can see here, and this is a vast improvement over the LUBA 1. So the LUBA 1 did have some issues with water getting in, but this is such a nice device now. This has really been improved from Mammotion to be 100% watertight. And what's great about it is it's Wi-Fi as well. So the LUBA 1 didn't have a Wi-Fi RTK, the LUBA 2 did, and the YUKA does have this Wi-Fi enabled. So why is that important? So there's two reasons. Essentially, what that means is this now has firmware, this RTK. So there's continual improvements on the RTK station, and that means that you can upgrade this RTK station over the internet. So there's no need to go up and plug a cable in like you had to do with the LUBA 1. You can just simply upgrade this from your phone. It takes a few seconds, and that is fantastic addition to the RTK. The second reason is the range between the mower and the RTK station is 150 meters. If you want to extend that, you can now with the LUBA 2 and with the YUKA, you can extend that up to 3 kilometers. And that is essentially when you put in a 4G SIM into the mower, and this being Wi-Fi, and this connected to Wi-Fi, it allows you to extend that range up to 3 kilometers. With the LUBA 2, it's up to 5 kilometers, but it's 3 kilometers with the YUKA. So that is the reason why there is now Wi-Fi in the RTK station, which is fantastic. So you get the RTK station naturally. You also get these poles here. So let me just get you out of the way. Come on, darling, good girl. So you get these poles here, and this is for your RTK station to sit on. I don't know whether you can see that in the background there, the LUBA 2 RTK station. So I just have it in the ground there and it works absolutely fine. You can get an additional wall mount for this as well. That's an optional extra, and I'll show you that in a moment. You have your antenna, which simply just screws into the RTK station like so. You also get a screwdriver, which is a great touch there. So they've got the hex on one end and the Phillips head there, or cross head, on the other end. So no tools are needed with this mower, which is great. You also get a pack of screws here, which I will show you what you use those for in a moment. And you get a complete set of blades there. So that's 8 blades. So remember, this is a dual deck mower. It has 2 decks and the cutting width is 32 centimeters. So you've got great cutting width on this mower. So you get a spare set of blades there. You can buy additional blades if you want. You also get a spare key as well. So it does have a key in here, just where this stop button is. It has one key already in, and you get a second key as spare, which is great that that's included. You also get some pegs and clips here. So the screws here are for screwing down your base station to the lawn. The clips here are for cable tying your RTK cable to the pole. You also get a quick start guide in the box as well. And that is pretty much it. That is what you get supplied in the kit with this YUKA robotic mower. Okay, so before we go in and I go over the specifications of the YUKA robotic mower, I just thought I'd go over the different accessories that you can purchase for the YUKA. So these are optional extras, they don't come supplied as standard. So the first thing is a wall mount kit. So you have this wall mount kit, it even comes with the wall screws and a template as well, which is great. And this is used if you want to get your RTK station as high as possible, and that is always recommended. So this is your RTK here, that sits on top there, and then this can go up on the side of your building just to give you a great view of the sky, so it gets as many satellites as possible. So the thing to remember with these GPS guided robotic mowers, or RTK, is the robot and the RTK need to see the same satellites. So if they can see the same satellites, then you're not going to have any issues with the guidance system on that. So hence the reason you may want to consider purchasing this wall mount as an optional extra. So speaking of the positioning of the RTK station, naturally if you're going to use this, you're going to need to get power to it, because this RTK station needs to be powered. So that may be an issue for you if you're mounting this high up on a building, for example, getting the power. So you do have another option, which is absolutely fantastic, and it's this here. It's a solar panel, and this solar panel will power your RTK station, which is fantastic. And you have this bracket here with where the solar panel will sit, and the RTK station sits just above it. And that is just amazing. So you don't need to run any power to it. This will 100% keep your RTK station powered up. This will also work with the LUBA 2 as well. So the other option you have is to buy some spare blades. So these are optional. You do get a pack of spare blades as standard in the pack with the YUKA, but if you want additional blades, they are available as optional extras as well. And then the major optional extra that you can get with the YUKA is the sweeping kit. So as you can see here, it does need a little bit of assembly. You have a brush here, and this is great for sweeping up your grass cuttings or leaves or any debris that's on your lawn. This will sweep it up, and I'm going to be demonstrating that a little bit later. So one question that I do get asked is, can I have the sweeper attached to the mower? Because there is a bit of configuration you need to do. You do need to put this weight here on the front of the mower, because naturally the weight at the back of the mower is going now to be raw with this attached. So you need to weigh the front down. That will need to go on. The answer is yes, you can. You can have the mower mowing as normal, mulching the grass cuttings, putting the little cuttings back onto the lawn, and have this attached but turned off. so you can specify in the app whether this runs or not. So my plan is to have this cutting once a week, just cutting the lawn, mulching it, getting the grass cuttings into the lawn. We know the benefits of mulching, and then every 2 weeks I'm going to schedule the sweeper to go around and sweep up any leaves or any debris on the lawn. So it is really configurable about how you use the sweeper. You don't have to take it off if you don't want to use it. You can just have it switched off in the app, and I get asked that quite a bit. The other thing to realize is that the sweeper is not going to reduce the amount of hours that your or the amount of time that your mower can mow before it needs to go back to the charge station. And the reason for that is the sweeper comes with its own battery. So this does go inside the mower. I will be showing you how to set that up later. So this battery powers the sweeper, and the YUKA has its own battery as it would normally for cutting the lawn, which is great that you get this extra battery supplied with the sweeping kit. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's what the options you get for additional extras that you can purchase with your YUKA robotic lawnmower. Okay, so before we set this YUKA robotic mower up and we test it out, I just wanted to go over the specifications of it with you and really talk a little bit about the differences between the 1500 and the 2000 model, which is what I have here. Okay, so let's go over the specification of this YUKA robotic mower. So in terms of its guidance, it has 2 guidance systems on it, and that is its 3D camera. So it has 2 lenses at the front here. It also has a lens here at the back. So essentially it has 3D vision of its surroundings, which is fantastic, and I'll explain why that's important in a moment. The second guidance, and its main guidance, is GPS or RTK. So RTK sits on top of the GPS to make it very, very accurate down to millimeters, which is amazing. The technology in this is absolutely amazing. So what happens is, with the early LUBA 1, which didn't have the vision, if it lost its GPS signal, it would get lost, it would stop essentially and not continue to mow the lawn. So the LUBA 2, which I have at the back there, they introduced a camera on the top, but this YUKA goes one step further. It has a 3D vision, so it even has a rear camera here as well. So it knows its surroundings. So if it does lose that RTK signal, maybe it's going under trees, or it's losing that view to the satellites where the RTK has, then this will keep going. This will carry on mowing the lawn until it gets back into that signal area, which is fantastic. And that's a great enhancement of these robotic mowers, to have those 2 technologies working together. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, I've gone for the 2000 model. So what that means is this will mow 2000 square meters. The 1500, by virtue of its name, means it will mow 1500. So that is just the limitation of how much area you can actually map on your app for the particular model. The other difference is that the 2000 that I have here will do 20 zones. I can have 20 zones, but with the 1500 I can have 10 zones, so 10 different areas. I mean, I'm only going to have 2 here. Okay, in terms of the height adjustment, so with my LUBA 2, the height adjustment is adjusted via the app, but with the YUKA, you adjust the app by pushing this button, and the height settings are from 20 millimeters up to 90 millimeters. So that's a really great range, and here in that 90 millimeters, that high cutting height, is going to be really useful for people with very thick, long grass, and that's particular in the US. They like to have a much higher setting in order for it to be able to cut that thicker grass. So it's great that you do that, but it is a manual adjustment, and that's done by pressing this button on the top and adjusting the height of that deck. So talking of the deck, if I turn the mower over, you can see there that it has a floating deck. So this deck floats, which is great because it will be very, very good at cutting uneven lawns with bumps. It's not going to start scalping the lawn, and that's why it's so important to have a robotic mower with a floating deck. You have 2 blades here, 2 discs here with 3 blades on each. And that gives you a cutting width of 32 centimeters. That's a really good cutting width, a very wide cutting width with this robotic mower. So naturally, with all robotic mowers, you're going to have some obstacle detection, and this has many different options in terms of its obstacle detection. And that is a bump sensor on the front here. It also has visual guidance as well, so it can avoid obstacles using its camera, which is a great feature as well, and I'll be testing that out later. On the top here you have a rain sensor as well, and everything is controlled through the app. So in my app I will see that I will use the same app to control my LUBA 2, as I do with the YUKA, and it's nice that you just have that one app. So if you do have multiple devices, multiple mowers, they're all in that single app and it works really well. The range on this is 150 meters. So the distance between the mower itself and the RTK station is 150 meters maximum. If you want to extend that, what's great about the YUKA and the LUBA 2 is that you can put a 4G SIM card inside so that it gets data. And because your RTK also has Wi-Fi, it means that you can extend that range up to 3 kilometers. So 3 kilometers with the YUKA with the 4G SIM in it. With the LUBA 2, you can extend the range up to 5 kilometers. So that's just something to consider if you are considering between the YUKA and the LUBA 2. There is a difference in the maximum range. So 3 kilometers the YUKA, 5 kilometers with the LUBA 2 with the 4G SIM in it as well. Okay, so also with this mower you have many different optional extras that you can put in, and the biggest one that you can put on this is the collector, the grass collector or the leaf collector that clips onto the back, and I do actually have that, and I should be showing you that a little bit later. That plugs into here, it sits on the back, you put a weight on the front here to weigh it down, to weigh the front down, because there will be a lot more weight sitting on the back, and this can actually collect the grass cuttings if you want to. And leaves as well. And one thing to bear in mind, and something that I'm asked when I'm asked about this YUKA, is can I have the grass collection box on but switched off? So, and the answer is yes, you can. So when you configure this to mow your lawn, you can tick whether or not you want the sweeper to be sweeping at the same time or not. So what you can do is have this cut your lawn once a week, and then every couple of weeks you can schedule it to go around with the sweeper and pick up any leaves on the lawn. Okay, so we've gone over the specification of this YUKA 2000 robotic mower. So what I'm going to do now, so I've come to my neighbour's lawn here where we're going to set it up, and the reason we've come here is because there's lots of obstacles, there's lots of no-go zones, there's a slope here as well, and I will walk you around the garden in a minute and just show you exactly where we're going to set it up. You've got lots of trees here in it, so this is going to be a real good test for this YUKA robotic mower. So I'm going to be putting the charge station here on the grass. I'm just going to be using the pole for the RTK station there as well, and if that doesn't get a good enough satellite signal, I'm then going to be putting the RTK station higher up here on the side of the building. So really that RTK station and the robotic lawnmower needs to see the same satellites, and that's what we're going to be trying to achieve here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just walk you around with the camera, walk you around the lawn and just show you where we're going to be setting this up. Okay, so this is where we're going to be putting the charge station here on the lawn. We have a power socket here, and then the RTK station is going to go on the corner here because we're trying to get a signal. The YUKA is going to be mowing this part of the lawn here, and if I just spin around, and then on the other side of the building here, it's going to be mowing here as well. So by putting the RTK station on the corner, I'm hoping that we're going to get coverage on both sides of this building. So if I'm just going to walk around and just show you what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to be doing the border around this area here. It's going to come up here. We will extend this after, but this is just testing. So trees like this one here, I'm not going to create a no-go zone around the tree. I'm going to see how the YUKA deals with that, because it can go right up to the tree and hopefully just avoid that as an obstacle. When we come round to the edge here, I'm just going to show you the edging. So you can see there we've got quite a steep edge. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to have to give the YUKA a little bit of wiggle room there in terms of the edging. So I'm going to have to just create a little bit, maybe 10 centimeters from the edge, because I don't want one of the wheels going over and it getting kind of beached on the side there on the edging, and that's until this gravel has been brought up to be more level. So we have more trees, more obstacles for the YUKA to deal with. This tree here, because it's has a raised area. I'm going to create that as a no-go area. And then if we come down to the side here, you can see here we've got really quite a steep slope that comes down. And then we have some trees here which have edging around. So these will be created as no-go areas. And there's quite a few of these. So all of these trees here with the edging will be created as no-go zones, and particularly this one. So a tree has died here, and you can see there's a massive drop. So we really don't want our yucca falling down into that hole. So again, I'm going to give that a 10 centimetre or so border around this no-go zone, just to make sure that the yucca is nowhere near that area. And then more trees. So we've got edging here. And then if I just pan up, you'll see the tree cover that we have here. So the yucca will be operating under these trees. So what we're hoping to see is that either the GPS will continue to function, or if it doesn't, the camera will kick in and the mower will carry on working. Okay, so that's it. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to now get the yucca set up and then we'll give it a test. Okay, so I hope that gives you an idea of how I'm going to be testing the yucca and the layout of the lawn here. So all I need to do now is get this set up, and it is super simple to set up. So if you're ever worried about purchasing a robotic mower because you think that there's going to be a lot of setup and it's complicated, it really isn't, and I hope this is going to demonstrate that. I'm not going to go into too much detail on how to set it up because there's lots of other videos out there that show you how to do it, but it is so simple to set up. And remember, there's no boundary wire with this robotic mower, so you simply just drive the robotic mower around the perimeter, you create your no-go zones, and you're really good to go. So it should be super simple, and I know it is because it's exactly the same setup as the LUBA and the LUBA 2. So okay, that's enough. Let's get this now unboxed, let's get it set up, and we'll give it a test. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is get the charge station assembled. So it's really straightforward. This top bit here, this just simply clips into the base here. So just take those two leads, run them out the back in the groove there, pop that on, clips in, and then turn it over, and you have 3 screws here that need to go in. So Mammotion even provide the screwdriver for you as well, which is a really nice touch. Okay, and that's my 3 screws in now. And that's my charge station basically assembled. So I'm going to position it here like so, and you're provided with the screws, the ground screws here, and they're going to be used just to screw this down securely to the lawn. So you also get the Allen key as well. So I'm just going to do that now. Okay, and that's our 4 ground screws now in place, and the base is now secured to the lawn. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is get the RTK station on the pole. So we're going to try it on the pole first and see whether we get enough GPS signal. If we don't, then we're going to be mounting it up here on the side of the building, taking it up higher. So we're going to give it a try and see how it goes. So essentially you have this bar here that just screws together. You need to feed the cable here through the pipe and then out the side here. So I'm just going to do that now. Okay, so just drop that in to the end of the pipe and then just take it out through the gap here. There we go. And then that just screws up. Okay, and because we're going to be using the power supply from the charging station, this is going to need to be relatively close to the actual charge station. But you do get a separate power supply supplied as well with the kit if you want to have this powered somewhere else, completely separate to where the charge station is. And then I'm just going to put that into the ground here. Okay, so all I did is I just removed that top section, just made it a little bit easier to get the thread right, and then I'm just going to screw that in. So just a couple of things to bear in mind here. If you were to ever move this RTK station, you would need to remap the area again. You can move the charge station, that's not an issue. You can move the charge station around, and there's a setting in the app that says relocate charge station. So that's fine to move the charging station. If you move this RTK station after you've mapped your lawn, you're going to need to remap. Okay, so next up is just to connect the RTK to the charge station. So you just unscrew these little protective caps here and then just pop it in like so and screw it up. So what that does is that's now going to power our RTK station from this single power supply that we're going to be plugging this into. Okay, you do get some clips as well which you can use to just clip the cable and just to keep this cable tidy. So they just go around your pole. Okay, so we're almost there now with the installation complete, and I hope you can see there just how quick and easy it is to set up. So all we need to do now is just plug in our power supply, turn it on, and we have a green light now on the charge station, and we have a flashing light on our RTK station. So all we need to do with the RTK now is just connect up the antenna. So that just screws on. And that pretty much is it. So with the YUKA, what is great about the YUKA, you have a handle at the back here. So it is so much easier to carry around than the LUBA is. And you also have a handle at the front here, grip at the front. So it just makes it very, very easy to lift. So the first thing we need to do is just remove this plastic here, this foam that's on the inside, because this whole front of the mower is actually a bumper, is a bump sensor. So you just pull that out. Okay, and you can see there that this front part of the mower itself is actually a bump sensor. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is put this on the charger and get this charging up, get the app on my phone, and then I'll show you how you get this set up. Okay, so all I've done there is just put the YUKA on the charge station. It's automatically turned on and it's good to go. So on the top here, I can see it charging. It shows you the 4 lights there, and it shows. So it says it's charging as well, and basically it's showing me how much charge is there on the display on the top as well. Okay, so we're pretty much ready to start mapping out the lawn now. So I've got a solid green light on the RTK station, and I've got flashing green lights on the robotic mower, the YUKA. So we're pretty much ready to map out the lawn. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to map out the lawn without the sweeper on. I'm then going to put the sweeper on and test the sweeper after to see how well that works. So what I need to do now is I already have the app installed because I have the LUBA back at my own property. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the RTK station and the YUKA to the app. So you just need to download the Mammotion app. I'm going to go and click the add button, which is here. So click add, and it should automatically detect both the RTK station and the YUKA mower. So I'm going to add the RTK station first. Start. And what's really great about the new RTK stations for the LUBA 2 and for the YUKA is that they are Wi-Fi as well. So that means that you can upgrade the firmware via the Wi-Fi, which is fantastic. There's no need to plug any cables in. Okay, so I've just connected the RTK station now to the Wi-Fi. So that's now connected. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in, so I've got 2 RTKs. So naturally I've got this one here and I have one at my own house. So what I'm going to do now is add in the YUKA, and there it's picked it up automatically. So I just click add, start. Okay, so that's our LUBA, sorry, not our LUBA, our YUKA and our RTK station connected to the Wi-Fi. So the next thing we need to do now is to create a map. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the create map button, and there it says, I was hoping I was going to see that there is actually a firmware upgrade for the YUKA. So I'm going to click upgrade firmware. One click upgrade. So it tells me the versions that it's going from to, and also the LUBA, sorry, the YUKA just announced there that it is upgrading. So we'll let that upgrade, and then I'll come back, and I think probably the RTK station will also need to be upgraded as well. Okay, so we're good to go now. We've got the firmware upgraded on the RTK station, the firmware is upgraded on the YUKA. So now it's time for us to create the map. So what I have had to do is I've moved the charge station onto this corner because we were having some issues with the YUKA getting a satellite signal. But I have had other people say that they've had to wait, 10-15 minutes before the YUKA positioned itself and connected to the satellites. But okay, so I'm now ready. It says there, tap to create a task area. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to click the area button. I'm going to click start, and then I'm going to manually move the mower to where I want it to start its positioning. So we're not recording anything at this stage in terms of the perimeter. So I'm just going to get that around the edge. Like so. I'm just going to move the dog. Come on. Okay, so we're going to get that onto the edge like so. And then I'm going to click robot reach the perimeter. When the robot has reached the perimeter, click to create. So let me just go in a little bit tighter so we have less edging to do. Okay, and I'm going to click the play button.
Start mapping a task area.
The YUKA has said start mowing the task area or creating the task area. So now all I do is just drive very carefully, drive the YUKA around the edge of the lawn. I'm going to do this quite quickly so that I can show you what's happening quite quickly, but you can just take your time with this and get it very, very accurate to where you want it to go. So we're coming up to this edge now, which is quite a steep drop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it around 10 centimeter gap. So something like that, because I don't want the YUKA to go over the edge. So I'm just going to work my way, but you can see there, I'm just giving it a little bit of room here just to ensure that that wheel doesn't drop down over the side there. And then essentially all you do is just drive it back to the position that you started, and there we go. So it says mapping complete, please click to save. Got it. I'm going to click finish. And that is our first area created. Okay, so that's our area created. So we've created our mowing area, but naturally we have all these trees here with these edging round. So we want to create these as no-go zones. So it's super simple to do with the YUKA. So you go into your map, you click create, and you'll see there it says no-go zone. You click on the no-go zone, start, and then you maneuver the mower around to the starting point of the no-go zone, which will be around there. So these are quite tight turns, so you take your time with them again. You click the play button, robot entered task area, click to create.
Start mapping a no-go zone.
It says start mapping a no-go zone, and then you just work your way around the no-go zone. Again, just take your time so you get it exactly how you want it. And there, it says mapping complete because that's where I started from. I click got it, finish.
No-go zone mapping completed.
No-go zone mapping complete. So that's one tree done. So what I'll do now is I'll go and create all these no-go zones around all of these trees here, and then we'll set the mower out to mow and we'll see how well it does. If you're finding this review of the YUKA Robotic Lawnmower useful, could I please ask that you click that thumbs up button below this video, and why not subscribe to my channel as well. If you click the bell icon, you'll get notifications of any future videos that I do. But if you could click that thumbs up button, it would be much appreciated. Okay, so that's it now. So I've mapped out my area, my task zone that I want to cut. I've also done my no-go zone. So all of these trees here have been marked as no-go zones. The trees at the end there which don't have the edging, I'm just going to leave the YUKA to sort out itself. So I'm going to just use its avoidance detection system to detect those trees, because I want to cut nice close cut up to them, and we'll see how well that works. If that doesn't work, then I will go round and set these up as no-go zones as well, especially where the bench is, for example. Okay, so let's get the YUKA on the charge station and we'll set it off mowing and we'll see how well it performs. And then what we'll do is, because we do have the sweeper unit, I will then put the sweeper unit on because there are some leaves on the lawn as well, and we'll give that a try as well. That's pretty much it. I hope you can see there just how simple it is to set this YUKA up. So basically we've gone around the perimeter, we've marked our no-go zones, and we're now ready to mow. So you can see here on the screen that I have my area defined, and you can see the yellow dots there, which are my no-go zones. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set the mower off on a mow. So I'm going to click the mow button. Got it. I only have the one area, so I'm going to confirm, and now we get some settings. So I don't have the sweeper on, so I'm just going to turn that off. So task speed, I'm just going to adjust that up a little bit just to get it to mow a little bit quicker so we can see how it goes. The cutting paths, I'm just going to use a standard zigzag. Path spacing I'm going to leave at 20. I'm going to set it not no touch, I'm going to set it to less touch. So I want it to go nice and close up to the trees at the back here. So no-go zones, mowing laps, I'm going to do 1 lap around these trees. And I'm going to do zigzag first. So basically what that means is it's going to cut the lawn first and then it's going to go around and do the edge. You can switch it, you can have it do the edge first, but I would always recommend cutting the lawn and then going around the edge. So in terms of the angle, I'm just going to leave it exactly as it is and see which way it cuts, and then we can adjust that after. So it's telling me there I've got 844 meters squared and it's going to take 198 minutes to mow that area. So I'm going to click the start button and let's see how this YUKA performs.
Start working.
So I hope you could see there how well it navigated around the tree. So I didn't create this as a no-go zone, it's just dealt with that tree itself and it's cut in the grass really, really nicely. I hope that's coming across there. Just drive straight around very, very nicely. Okay, so I hope you can see there how well the YUKA is doing cutting the lawn. You can see the stripes there. You can see the tree that it's gone around as well, which is absolutely unbelievable. So I've not mapped that as a no-go zone. It saw it through its camera. It cut up nice and close to it. And then on previous passes, it just went around the tree, drove around it. Absolutely amazing. Mammotion have done amazing things with this YUKA mower. And as you can see there, it's just so accurate. It's going right up to the edge, and naturally at the end it's going to go round and do the edge as well, get even closer. It's just so precise, it just works. It's so super simple to set up as well. There really is nothing I can moan about with this mower. Mammotion have done amazing things with the upgrades to the firmware and to the app as well. So yeah, I'm going to let that carry on now cutting, and then I'll show you once it's finished and once it's all done, and we'll also see how well it does around those no-go zones that we created as well. And also we're going to put the sweeper on as well. So there are some leaves on the lawn, as you can see here. So this is even going to be even more practical to have on your lawn, because we're going to set it to go round and pick up the leaves and see how well that works as well. Okay, so I'll come back when it's finished cutting the entire lawn and I'll show you the results. Okay, so this is the moment of truth. So we've got this really deep hole here. The YUKA's coming towards it. It has been defined as a no-go area. So let's see what it does when it gets close to the hole. Okay, so it's detected that no-go zone and it's avoided it, and then what it will do is it will finish mowing this side of the no-go zone and then it will go round and edge it. So it's really performing exceptionally well. Okay, so why the YUKA is working, I just thought I'd tell you what cutting height I have it on because I know someone will ask me. So it's on number 4, so it's the third setting from the lowest setting. And it's doing a really great job, and I really wouldn't on this lawn be going any lower than that. I would have this going out maybe once a week, maybe twice a week maximum, and just taking that small amount off the lawn. So you can see what the YUKA is doing now is it's now doing this area here. So all of these no-go zones, it was just happy to mow up the end there, get that done, and what it's doing now is it's coming into this area here and mowing this area. So it's working super efficiently, and you can see it's lining up the lines there, the stripes, amazingly well. So yeah, I'm super impressed with this YUKA up to now. So when this is finished, it will go around and do the edging, then it will go around and do the edges of all of the no-go zones. That's all configurable in the app, so you can say how many times you want it to go round. I've set it for twice around the perimeter and twice around the no-go zones. Okay, so we'll let the YUKA finish off this area. It will then carry on over this area. It will do the perimeter, and then we'll take a look at the sweeper. Okay, so I've now got the sweeper kit attached to the mower. So what I now need to do is to set a dumping ground. So the way you do that is you go into your map, you click create, and then you have the option there for dumping spot. So I'm going to press that, and I'm going to navigate the mower to where I want to have the dumping spot. So I'm just going to bring the mower out. I'm going to take it over into this corner. Okay, so it's saying that it's too close to the charging station, the dumping spot. So I'm just going to move that out a little bit, but I'll do it here just to show you. So let's see whether we can create our dumping spot there. Again, it's saying too close to the charging area, so let's move it right out the way. So let's put the dumping spot there, for example, just to try it. So create dumping spot, click create, and I think if we zoom out on the map and we zoom in, I'll just drive a little bit forward. And there you go, you can see there on the map, I'll just zoom that in so you can see there that it's created a dumping spot for when it's picked up the cuttings and picked up the leaf. That's where it's going to dump it. And I think you can have up to 100 dumping spots with the YUKA 2000. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set this out now to do a mow with the sweeper turned on, and we'll see how it picks up these leaves here on the lawn. Got it. I'm now going to confirm, so I only have one area, and what I'm going to do is flip that switch there which says sweeping. I'm going to have the task speed. I'm just going to leave everything else as is, and I'm going to click start. Next, so start working, and hopefully you'll see once it gets into position that sweeper turning on and sweeping up the leaves. So I hope you can see there underneath the mower the sweeper working. See there the leaves in its path there. And what it's actually doing is it's picking up a lot of the grass that it cut earlier. So we've just cut it. We've just put the sweeper on and we're giving it another cut. Okay, so the YUKA has detected that it needs to empty the grass bag, so it's heading over to the dump point that I created. Naturally, I'm just testing this. I would put my dump points out on the perimeter or even off of the actual lawn itself. So it's now just coming back to empty the grass bags. It's lifting up. How good is that? That is just amazing. And then it should just drive off. And then off it goes again. And it's just left the pile of cuttings there and leaves. Okay, so it's done its first dump here. It's dumped exactly where I specified that dump point. It's sweeping up the leaves. I don't know if you can see that there on camera. It's sweeping up the leaves amazingly well. It's also collecting the grass cuttings. So what we did cut this lawn with the YUKA before we put the actual sweeper on, and that's why it's now picking up all of the cuttings that we had before, and it's just going, and you can see how well it's picking it up as well, and how well it's just dumped it here in this pile. So yeah, all in all, the sweeper works exceptionally well on the YUKA. Okay, so the YUKA has finished now cutting the lawn, and I hope it comes across there on camera just how good a job it's done of it. It's absolutely incredible. It's kept the lovely straight lines, as you can see. It's worked around all of the no-go zones as well, cutting right up to the edge. It's done an absolutely fantastic job. It's gone under the trees there and never lost signal, and it's just kept going and absolutely no problem whatsoever. It's even gone under the bench there as well and cut underneath the bench. So really, I cannot fault this YUKA robotic mower. It is absolutely fantastic. If you're thinking of getting one, I can highly recommend it. You're not going to be disappointed. This is amazing technology at this price point that you're getting with this robotic mower. If you're worried about how complicated robotic mowers are to set up, you could see there it's super simple to set up as well, so you don't need to worry about that. If you're considering either the LUBA 2 or the YUKA, I have done a video that explains the differences between the two robotic mowers. I'll put a link up on the screen now, and there's a link in the description below this video to that. So if you have any questions at all about this YUKA, please head on over to the easylawnmowing.co.uk website. There's a full review of the YUKA. There's a full review of the LUBA 2 as well, if you're considering that one. And there's a question and answer section there. So go over to the easylawnmowing.co.uk website. You can ask me anything. It can be about this mower, the LUBA 2, or any lawn mower, and I'll be happy to answer that for you. I normally respond the same day, or at most 1 or 2 days, I'll have an answer to your question. So please head on over there. So if you did find this review useful, could I please ask that you click that thumbs up button below this video? It would be much appreciated. And why not subscribe to my channel as well? If you want to get notifications, just click the little bell icon and you'll be notified when I release any future videos. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.